I'll be honest, I don't know where we left off on this because I stepped away from it for a while I waited for parts to come in. One of the things is one of these Athenas had a crack in the nickel, so we had to get it taken care of. That takes a long time. To get these re-nickeled is long and expensive. We also found a crack in the flywheel. So I offered used a new or a China. He's gone with the China. Now, these work kind of like the other China, cheap China stuff is you have to do your quality control. Make sure these pickup tabs are exactly the same height. They have to be a perfect 180 degrees out. You can adjust them by chopping a little off, shaving it down if they aren't the same height, they're 180 degrees apart. I don't know how good the rivets are that hold this together, how long it'll last, but they seem to work right off the bat. I haven't had anybody that has used them come back and complain as of yet. You let me know if you guys are using any of these and if they're lasting. Okay, where are we going to start? Might as well put the flywheel on. The key is, woodruff key is already in there. Trying to get that key lined up. Doesn't seem like it wants to be too cooperative this morning. There we go. You'll feel it slide on. All right, we'll get some, I always like this red Loctite. We don't want anything backing off, just a little on the threads. I like to see 18 thousandths between the pickup and the eye there. This one's good. There we go. Nice custom fit there. All right. New wrist pin bearings. All right, we're gonna make sure these rings have proper gap. I'd like to see a minimum of 12 thousandths on this setup, but the instructions are right in with the pistons. It'll tell you how to and how much gap there should be. We'll pull out the 12 thousandths. Perfect. Square it up. About an inch down. Perfect. This cylinder is good. Perfect. We're good to go here. This cylinder was not fixed because it didn't have a lot of runtime on it, and this nickel is really hard. I just fixed the one that had the crack and lift on the nickel. inside. Make sure it can't push out. It's in there good. There's one piston on. Check to make sure that pin won't come out. All right, and then I'll just slide the rings for this one on. Just work your way around. Don't spread them a ton. They will snap. I do it with the painted number side up. Doesn't have an up or down on the rings. You just slap them on. The piston does have to point one way, so the little pointer has to go to the exhaust. That's intake draw. That's exhaust. Wall. In. Put the rings on. All right, pistons are on. Cylinders are next. I'll rotate it, get this other piston up to about top dead center. Center the rings around the dowel pins on the piston. Pinch with your hand, your fingers, and then just work it ears right over and straight down. Now I just tighten these by hand. I don't like to crank them down. You will distort the Nicosil and chip it. If you must tighten, you can use some Loctite. I wouldn't go over 5 foot-pounds on these, 5 to 6. But I don't do it. I just hand tighten them. Okay, this is a Pro Design head. These were one of the first aftermarket heads for the Banshee way back in the day. The originators. It's a 3-piece head. Make sure you fill all the grooves with the O-rings. This old design has a lot of O-rings. It's one of my favorite designs. I still like this 2-piece or 3-piece style head. The questions I get sometimes are the O-rings. They go from 64 to 68. When you have the 68 bore, you usually have to stretch them out a little to get them to seat. I grease them all up and just seat them around. Grease helps them hold on and not fall out while you're assembling. Beautiful. Take these while I'm at it. Stick them here, here. And then the last big one goes on the cap. And this one's tight. Sometimes they're a little big, depending on the manufacturer. You have to kind of back feed them in so they don't have any extra left over. You can't get it to sit down flush. All right, this is how I do it. I usually stick a couple old spark plugs in so I have somewhere to hold it once I fit the keyed dome in. Keyed. There we go. Sits all nice and pretty. And then I can flip it over and have handles that hold the domes in. Got the camera kind of close, probably bump it here. There we go. After I set it down, I always like to lift and check to make sure no O-rings are falling out. You pinch them and you'll have a leak and you have to take it all apart. It happens. Don't think you're the first guy to assemble it and pinch off an O-ring. These ones have tiny little ones that go around each stud. I'll take the spark plugs out. That one ran away. Take this, set it on top. And then you just start putting all the nuts on. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Last, before I put on the side cover, I get this hose on. Make sure it's good and seated. I'll rotate and make sure everything's good. As you assemble, you want to rotate every time you put something together to make sure you're not contacting anything, because you'll get way ahead of the game and then have to tear the motor halfway down again. It's a bummer. I'm gonna put the side cover on now. I usually just put the gasket over the aluminum pipe and the dowel pin, and that'll hold it. This O-ring up. And I put a little in here too. Just so that O-ring doesn't bind up, flip, get pinched. And then I'll take, we already put our new seal for the kicker in. Just push it in with your thumb. And then I'll go around and make sure all the screws go in. The longest one goes where the dowel pin is. All the rest are the same size. But you want to make sure you don't, or you make sure you have your gasket lined up so all these start to thread. I don't tighten until I get them all started. And I know that the gasket isn't bound up.